So subtractive synth, pretty amazing thing. A lot of capabilities, a lot of flexibility, and it's been around for a very long time. And it rarely sounds better than when done on a nice warm analog synth. We've heard, these beautiful lush pads and soaring leads and other sound effects and whatnot. So we're all familiar with the nice, rich, warm tones. And then there's the other stuff that they can do. Kind of a different animal. Granted, you can do this routing with virtual analogs or whatever else, but again, hey, analog, it's a lot of fun. Few things can mess with a signal, mess with a sound more than a little something that was brought to us by Dave Smith back in the days, a little thing called PolyMod. I can't, there's no good way to encapsulate PolyMod, really. Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? This is not patch 48. This is nothing like patch 48. This is one note. Might as well be. Works better when hold's active correctly. You get the idea. No need to subject ourselves to any more of that. This is a Prophet 6 with PolyMod and all the latest stuff that they put into this. So what exactly is going on in this sound? Well, it's due to PolyMod, and I'll get into what it's doing in a minute. That is a constantly evolving sound. While it's working in some of the same sonic space, it will never actually repeat the same exact sound anywhere in that cycle. I guess mathematically, yes, it technically could possibly, but realistically, it's not going to. So, what do we have? Let's go ahead and drop these down for a moment. So, starting off, oscillator 1, it's just a basic square, pulse wave, sync to oscillator 2. But obviously, that sounds nothing like a plain square. So what else do we have going on here? Well, there's this fun little thing about oscillator 2 on the Prophet 6. You can switch it into low frequency mode, which basically turns it into another LFO, which you can then route to a couple of different destinations. Here is our normal LFO. It is a square wave. You'll see I've got it all the way at maximum frequency and maximum effect on its values, which are frequency of oscillator 1 and oscillator 2, the pulse width of both, as well as the low-pass filter. On oscillator 2, it is partway between a square and a saw. It is very low frequency, and even more so, as I mentioned, it is in low frequency mode. In fact, I can't even play just it because of other stuff that's going on, but you'll hear its effect in a minute. So then beyond that, here is where things start to get a little weird. As those who know about subtractive synth will know, as I've got, the LFO routing or controlling the low pass filter and these high rates here, and I've got some resonance going on the low pass, I'm pushing this filter into self-oscillation. No huge surprise there. So if we just play a note, it's very, very quiet. But that is the LFO resonating, and I can actually control that by changing the resonance. You have to be very careful because it can get away very quickly. It's right on that edge. So that's part of the sound, but not near the whole sound. Because what else we have going on here is, as I mentioned, PolyMod. What I've got going on up here is I have both the filter envelope and oscillator 2 modulating the frequency of oscillator 1 on top of the LFO also doing it, or the main LFO, and it's also changing the pulse width of oscillator 1. So this is getting modulated by oscillator 2 as well as by LFO 1, and LFO 1 is changing oscillator 2, which is changing PolyMod, which is changing oscillator 1. You can see it's got almost like a feedback loop going on in it. And I got a little bit of effects on there, but that's not doing a whole lot. So the individual pieces, obviously we've got the very basic filter oscillation. And if we turn up oscillator 2 itself, we'll hear it reset. And that is its very, very low speed. And I can even bring that up. And it'll even go all the way up into oscillation itself. So, crazy stuff there. So that's one small piece of it. The initial sound, I also had the sub-octave going, or sub-oscillator. And so as this is driven off of oscillator 1, it's going to have the same modulations going on based on everything else here. It's just an octave down. So you can hear the tame version of what's going on in the sound. And then you actually bring oscillator 1 back in, and it gets nuts again. Turn those back down before they get too annoying. Now, the filter envelope is actually affecting the filters as well, so I can go all kinds of places just with the sustain on the filter envelope. Anyway, that is some of the crazy stuff you can do with PolyMod to make incredibly annoying sounds. You can also do it to make really nice evolving pads, but that's not always fun. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed this little bit about PolyMod on the Prophet 6 and how you can be annoying with it, because who doesn't want to do that?